We'll go to Thomas next. Go ahead, Thomas.
Buddy just watched Freeland from a distance through his bullpen session. Looks like he's in pretty good shape. Do you feel like he's okay for the next start?
Yes, I do. I think that talking to Kyle the last couple of days, he feels good. I wasn't out there for the side session. I'll follow up with him here shortly. I know it's going to be just a little touch and feel side, based on where we are in the calendar in August and coming off the hard smash off his foot. So I'll follow up, but I agree. I haven't heard anything from Fossey or Darryl about Freeland not making this start. So I think it's going to happen.
You guys are kind of back to where you were at the start of the year with your starting rotation. If you could kind of give me a scouting report on how the guys have done coming out of the break and where you guys are with that rotation.
Out of the break or just the –
Or just overall, I guess.
Thomas, we've talked about this a lot. The thing that stood out for me, they've been very consistent. I've been reading, a little bit about their performance as it relates to other starting staffs in the major leagues. I think they've done a very good job of all the things you look for: innings pitched, quality starts, durability. Going to the post. We haven't used that many starting pitchers. Again, that's a tribute to these guys, the medical staff, our strength and conditioning guys, the programs we have in place for our pitchers to be able to make their appearances either as relievers or as starters. But it's been talked about a lot, and I think they're showing it each and every day, individually and as a group. They've been outstanding.
So
you take in consideration. I don't talk about this much. I let you guys do it, but half their starts are here in Denver.
That said, as this year finishes and go into 22? Yeah. Do you feel like you have a rotation that can win a division or go to the playoffs? And do you feel like you're farther down the road to contending than maybe if you didn't have it?
Yes. Any manager, general manager, player will tell you the importance of starting pitching over the long haul. They're the backbone of a team's success. It's hard to win without a good starting rotation that gives you a chance to win every night. I think that's the critical part of the team that has to be there for a team to be there in October, in a pennant race in September. You got to have that. It's just too hard not to do it without starting pitching. And to your point, I think we have a very good starting rotation that can match up against anyone.
Does that kind of mean that this offseason, you're really looking at yourself as that type of team where if you got some other parts, you're competing with the Dodgers, Giants, Padres, and maybe you're going to a playoff?
We have to pick our offense up for sure, whether that's acquiring some players to bolster that offense, and guys who are here to play better than they've played this year offensively. That's possible too, to get bigger years from the guys that are here. Because we've had some guys here that season's not over yet, but haven't done what they expected to do.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll go to Kevin Henry next. Go ahead, Kev.
Hey, buddy, I want to follow up a little bit on what Patrick was asking about Tapia. With your top two in the lineup, you've had the swagger and dagger earlier this year with Daza, who followed him really well. Now Rogers is following him really well in the lineup. What have you seen from these guys at those top two positions that have kind of been the constant whenever the offense is really clicking?
Well, the on-base component, I think, is critical for any offense. You got to have players that, have that on-base skill. And, a big part of that is the hit ability, but the other part is the ability to get on base via the walk. I think when we're at our best, Tapia is doing his thing, where he's slashing and getting his hits, taking his walks. The walks have decreased a little bit from Tap, I think, over the last couple months. Early in the year, I think he was, whether it was the pitchers being a little bit more, I wouldn't say careful, but, trying to, not pitch aggressively to Tap because he was getting hits. He was taking his walks, but, we need the walk component to show up, with our group. And I think the first two hitters in the lineup, whether it's been, Tap and Rogers, Tap and Daza, Tap and Hampson, or Hampson's let off, those groupings of players have to get on base. We've had, I think Crone's done a nice job with his walk rate. Charlie's done a nice job with his walk rate. I think our catchers are hanging in there with their walk rate. I think Diaz has picked his up. I think Dom early in the year walked quite a bit. That's sort of decreased here lately. But any lineup that works, you need on-base percentage guys at the top of the order.
Is it an adjustment for a younger player like a Rogers to settle into that two hole and kind of know what's expected of him? Or,
well, I think traditionally we've sort of moved past the traditional rules of where certain guys hit in the lineup. You don't see, a generation ago type player where the two-hole hitter, there was a lot of hit and runs. There was a sacrifice bunt. There was a guy who took a lot of pitches so that, the third and four-hole hitter can see the opposing pitcher. Some of those, long time roles are not in place anymore, right? There's been, some new thinking on lineup construction and who should hit where and why. But, I think with us and most teams, I mean, you want your best hitters at the top of the order. You want those guys getting your extra at-bats at the end of the game in the 8th or 9th innings. You want guys who you feel good about with the ability to, to hit their way on base or to garner a walk. So you look at successful offenses, you'll see the guys at the top with pretty good on-base percentages.
You have emphasized the changeup all year to all of your starters. You've mentioned it a lot lately about John Gray and Armand. Is the changeup something that you've always believed in, or is it even more specific because you think it's a pitch that guys can be successful with here at Coors at altitude?
Well, I think that I've always emphasized that pitch for our starting pitchers, or anywhere I've been, even back to my playing career. It's just a great equalizer, for your fastball, whatever type of fastball you have, whether you have a high-end velocity fastball or you have a, below average velocity fastball. The changeup just, sets your fastball up so well. And also, I think with the handedness of the hitter, I think it's really going to be beneficial for John, for Herman, for Antonio, as they move on in their big league careers, to give them a chance to be more successful against left-handed hitters. The breaking ball's coming into the lefty. Usually the breaking ball will be down and in. Historically, hitters from the left side like the ball down and in. But I think it's just a great pitch. It's, as far as, it's easier on your arm. I think you can get, strikeouts with it. And I think you can get ground balls that, can turn into double plays. There's just so many things that, make the changeup advantageous for pitchers. It's, it's just hard not to, for me to continue to push it on these guys because it's going to help them. And it's really hard to learn a pitch mid-season and have it be reliable as you move through. Sessions have started for the last couple of years. And you never want to get beat with your fourth pitch in a big league game, or if you're a minor league pitcher and you're trying to get to the big leagues and everything's about performance. It's just hard to, just have the repetitions of a fourth pitch or a developing pitch, and feel confident in it that it's going to potentially cause you to lose a game or affect your outing. So it's a tough one to really bring into a year and develop it to the point where it's a big pitch for you. It's more of an off season, spring training, and then hopefully into the year, it's used to the point where it can be very functional.
Kind of takes a leap of faith, doesn't it, to start using it in games and big situations?
No
to
doubt.
trust it enough?
Yeah, no doubt about it. To trust it. Again, it all comes down to feel. You're holding the ball in a very unique grip that in most cases is not comfortable until you get it to be comfortable, and that just takes repetition. And if you're Herman or John and you're in the sixth or seventh inning with a couple guys on base and in a critical juncture in the game, you're not going to throw a changeup. You're not going to get beat with your fourth pitch. You're going to throw, either a fastball that's located. You're going to throw your break because that's who you brought to the dance. And as the saying goes, you dance with who brought you. So we got to get it to that point where the changeup becomes, something where a pitcher can take it on the dance floor and use it.
Okay, thanks, Clay.